So in this video, we're going to be covering the trouble spots or the most frequently asked questions. And this actually falls into two major categories. One is successfully timing the strikes, and the second one is actually getting your footwork into the proper position when doing this technique. Timing the strikes is critical for the success of this technique because there's a lot that's going on in a very short amount of time. So when Nate punches in, I am actually hitting. And to be able to hit all of those with accuracy requires thinking ahead. Now, what is difficult for students, it's hard to think ahead of one move and still do the strike well, the move that they're on. What I mean by that is I have to be planning for this leopard paw up into the throat, but I still have to have enough presence of mind where this strike is effective, because where you can get in trouble is that you're so focused on the next strike, you miss this one might hit under the chin, and I'm already working, and it just turns into a big sloppy mess. And the one thing about Leopard Kempos, if it starts to fall apart in the beginning, it's going to continue to get worse and worse. It does not fix unless you slow it down and fix it. So the key to this is to once again go at a slower speed and work on the targeting. So that way you are in position for every single strike. Work the reps, 1, 2. That way, as you get better at it, the strikes will come more and more naturally. But the thing is, start slow, be accurate, be technical. Getting in proper position, or the footwork, is as important as getting the hand strikes. And it's a lot trickier for people too, because it's one thing to try to make sure all your hands are in place. It's quite another thing, and it's more difficult to make sure your feet are going with the hands. So an example is when Nate's coming in, a lot of people will be able to do this, but then they're like, oh, my foot should move, and then it starts to get choppy here, and they lose where they are, and they lose the fluidity of the leopard. The trick in this is to just break this down into its segments and make it look choppy while you're working on it. So Nate comes in, I do my double block, I step with this strike. I strike up into the third, I push the head down, I come down low, strike. Now I make my little adjustment foot and I step through on this strike. Now what's really important is you practice this a lot, because what's going to happen is you may step into an angle and not quite get where you need to go. With practice, you'll realize when you strike here where you need to step so that you could pivot and then strike effectively to where you need to go. Again, the reps will eventually make it more fluid, but it's totally okay to 1, 2, turn, 3, 4, step through as you hit, and then pivot as you hit. As you get more and more comfortable with it, if you're punching again, then you'll be able to strike, hit, and then hit. But again, that takes practice. You don't want to substitute speed for lack of balance, power, technique, and accuracy.